Hi YouTube, this is my daddy from Modern Style.
Hey, what's up YouTube world? It's Ryan from Ride in Style. And today I just wanted to talk a little bit about my first month or month and a half, whatever it's been since I've owned this Hellcat, and just a few things that I've realized after owning it. So if there's anyone out there that is thinking of maybe upgrading your car to a Hellcat one day, these are some things that I just noticed once I got mine, things that I haven't noticed before, but always wondered. And one of the things that I noticed is that just the Hellcat badge, a lot of people recognize it, like more people than I thought. Even those that I wouldn't have even considered car people seem to recognize the significance of a Hellcat badge. And so for whatever reason, that in and of itself will set your car apart from all the other Chargers, especially now with like the 2018 or 19s, where you can get the different body kits that make your car essentially look just like an SRT, a 392, or even a Hellcat if you just swap out the hood, and yet underneath it's a V6. And so that kind of upset a lot of people because they like the idea of having this aggressive front grille and the front fascia, rear fascia, the exhaust. But it doesn't upset me because I can understand it. When I had my 5.7, one of the first things I wanted to do was make it look more aggressive. Not to deceive anyone, just because it just looked like a better car. However, with the Hellcat badge, that just seems to be the one thing that sets this car apart. And what I'm saying is, when I first got this car, I remember driving it back to where I'm staying, and literally people were driving past me and just looking out the window in almost admiration. Now, keep in mind, I've had a Charger for a long time. I've owned a 2013, of course my 2015. That was a custom car, and people would look at it from time to time. But yet, this car, for whatever reason, if you're not a car person, this car could look just like any other Charger. But with the Hellcat badge, for whatever reason, it just seems to set it apart. And that's one of the things that I've noticed from owning this car. Even I remember this car that I was at a red light, and this car was driving across from where I was, stopped at the red. And it wasn't just the passenger that had their phone out, like recording, and there was no one else around. I was the only car stopped at this red light. And this other car was at crossing the intersection from where I was. The passenger and the driver both had their phones out facing towards me in this car recording it. And I thought maybe there was something else behind me, like, why would it be this car? And you know what though, I will say that there's something about this paint color, the octane red, that it's a rare color. And I'm guessing it's because of the premium that is charged to get this color. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. It's like $500 or $1,500 more to get this particular paint color, at least for this year car. But it stands out, and you don't see too many of these. And then the brass monkey wheels really play a nice, it's like a nice combination. But that's the one thing I noticed. In terms of the performance of the car, I will say that this car is designed to go fast. Like, I actually get the best gas mileage when I am on the open road. When I'm just driving around town, going to the grocery store, going to Walmart, going out to eat at a restaurant, like, it sucks up gas like you wouldn't believe. But when I'm consistently holding 80, 90, kilometers an hour, it seems to stretch. Like, the range won't go down. I'll be driving at 80 80, miles per hour for a while, and it maybe would have went down like a mile, or if that. Of course, if you're running the AC or whatever. Now the Hellcat does have an eco mode, and I'm not sure exactly what that does. I mean, I can guess, but I don't know the exact performance variable that the economy mode delivers. Funny thing out here is it's just an open road. It's a highway where the speed limit is 75 miles an hour, but you can tell when you're getting close to a town because it drastically drops, like to 65 and 55 and 45, all within 100 yards of each other. You just need to like pump the brakes, or maybe if your car is heavy like this car, you'll be able to slow down in time. So that's what I noticed too about the range on this car, like the gas mileage. It just feels like this car needs to go fast, or it needs to be at that higher range of speed to perform well. It just feels like if you're going to use it in normal city driving, then I would not own a Hellcat, only because the car's not made for that. And it just feels like you're almost hurting the car, like it wants to be set free. I know this is something I'm going to have to deal with if I don't sell this car here and I ship it back home. I'm not going to be able to drive it like I do out here, and that's a given. Of course, I'm going to be at home, feel like a caged animal waiting to let loose and wishing I was back here again. I understand that. That's what's going to happen. But that's another thing I noticed. The Hellcat badge is significant. The preference for this car is probably around 70 to 90 miles an hour and more. There's times when I'm overtaking and I hit like 110 just to overtake, and you don't even feel it. That's the thing, is maybe in another setting, if you're on a highway with a lot of other cars and you're doing 110, you feel it because there's a chance you're just flying by all these other cars. But when you're the only car on an open road, you could be doing 110 and you can't tell because you're not passing anything. There's almost nothing to really gauge how fast you're really going. Yes, you're passing trees and signs, but to me that's not you still can't feel it. It's that smooth. And then the weight of this car is significantly heavier. I noticed that like as soon as I first test drove it, I was like, wow, this thing is a tank. And granted, it's probably a lot of I don't know if it's like front end heavy. That's hard to tell, but just based on the driving, it feels like it's really front end heavy, and that would make sense with the supercharger components under the hood. And that's another factor, is the weight. I think the curb weight on this car is over 5,000 pounds. I don't know if it's closer to 5,500 or something. So it's over 1,000 pounds more than like, the RT. So that's a significant thing that you notice. One thing I didn't account for was the increased insurance coverage that was going to be required for this car. And that really depends. I want to say it varies by state, because Texas has a lot of, basically they have so much uninsured drivers here that they penalize the ones that actually have insurance by paying extra for those that don't have insurance. And so the premiums here are very expensive. The minimum coverages that's required is a lot higher than probably most other states. I'm not sure. All I do know is that if I do bring this car back home to Hawaii with me, my insurance premium is going to drop. So anyway, I was saying that my insurance premium will drop significantly once I go back home if I do take this car with me, and I'm excited about that. So that's another thing to account for. You want to buy a high performance car, you're going to spend a lot more money on the insurance, as well as probably the cost of the car overall. And the gas, I can't say it was as much as I thought it was going to be. Like the very first time I filled up this tank, of course that varies based on gas prices, but it requires premium gasoline. So, you know, I was expecting a pretty hefty fill up, and honestly, it didn't cost anywhere near what I thought it was going to cost. So that's a nice financial relief. And keep in mind, this isn't my daily driver. Even though I have it here, I don't drive it every single place that I go to. It's more like it's still like a weekend driver, basically like what I would use it for back at home anyway. So that's going to also help keep the miles low. And then days like today, when I decide to take a road trip, it's great. It's actually really great. So I'm really loving this car, guys. I'm not trying to make this video drag any longer, but those are just a few things that I noticed is pretty significant after owning this car compared to the other two Chargers that I've owned prior. Is I don't know if it's just the color that makes this car stand out, because the other two cars I had were white, you know, and there's like your normal colors that you see all over the road, and then there's some colors that you don't always see, like the F8 green is one of those rare colors in my opinion, but I am starting to see more and more of them now, so that could change. But the Octane Red, oh man, I mean, wow. I've said it before, I'll say it again, it continues to grab me. As far as the rims go, I don't know what I want to do. Honestly, like the fact that I'm not going to be living in Texas, I'm going to be moving back to Hawaii, it kind of complicates some things.
Your text message from Robin.
It kind of complicates things only because if I don't sell these Brass Monkey wheels, then I'm going to have to ship them back home, you know, and I'm not trying to do that. Versus, you know, like once I do get back home, I'm able to just buy rims then, and it'll be easy. I could just store the wheels at my place and list them for sale and not have to worry about hoping I sell them in a few weeks or a few months. So, and I'm liking the Brass Monkeys for now. And another option I was thinking about was actually getting them dipped or maybe wrapped, like keeping the Hellcat wheels, just having like I don't know if they do that in the black chrome, but wow, I think that would be the best of both worlds. I'll get the black chrome type of wheels that I want, but then I'll also have the option to go back to the Brass Monkeys if I decide to do it that way as well. So, you know, lots going on, a lot of thoughts. Another update with my vehicle build, if you want to call it that, is, yeah, there has been some people that were asking about when am I going to start doing performance mods. And let's be honest, guys, like, what do you really want to do to what I'm going to call a daily driven Hellcat? This is not a track car. If I took it to the track, I would want to see what this car can do stock. I'm not going to build a track car because I'm not going to go to a track. Actually, where I live, there is no track. They closed it down. So that's just a lot more money that doesn't have to be spent. I was looking at some other things like the rear diffuser, the one with the fins. But then again, I'm not trying to get what everyone else gets. I was looking at a front splitter. For some reason, I really like the carbon fiber finish. But, you know, those are just some ideas I was tossing around. And also, you know, the thing about these cars is you want to make them yours. You want to make it what you want it to look like, you know, and that's the beauty of customizing cars. And the thing about it is it's a slippery slope. And that's what I'm trying to say in short, is that once you go down a certain path, you know, it's almost like everything that you do after that to seem like it's going to look good and be in order has to follow that same path. But oftentimes you have three separate paths.
Make sure to give a like and subscribe.
And hit the bell.
And hit the notification bell.
Bye.
There. Bye.
You